everyone, welcome back at Charlotte from at Charlotte's house. I am standing in front of what used to be a really ugly chain link fence cage. It is so much better now. I can't wait to show you how I made this. We are currently renting, and these chain link cages are scary, to say the least. I don't know what they used to contain. Now we've put a little bit of our stuff in here, so not only are they messy, but they also are just not so pretty. They're the first thing you see when you drive up our driveway, and I wanted to change that.
I built the frame for the planter wall using pocket holes and 2x4s. Notice that I kept the 2x4s lying flat so that the planter wall was only 1.5 inches deep at this point. I measured the distance between the vertical posts on the chain link fence and used this distance as my dimension so that my 2x4s would line up with the metal posts. On both planter walls, I also added a 2x4 in the center just to reinforce the whole structure a little bit more. I was using 1x3 common pine for the slats. To figure out the spacing, I dry fit the slats on first, leaving an inch or so between each one. Once I had the actual spacing between each slat, I cut a guide from scrap wood and used this before gluing and nailing each slat into place. I still managed to screw it up so you'll notice the bottom boards on each planter wall are a little closer together. I don't mind the look, but that was not intended. Rather than trimming each board individually, I clamped a guide in place and used my circular saw to trim them all off at once after I'd finished nailing them in place. To finish the planter wall, I wrapped another 1x3 around and attached it with more wood glue and my nail gun. Because I had kept the 2x4s on their sides, this 1x3 ended up being exactly the perfect size to wrap cleanly around and still remain flush with the back edge of the planter wall. Before I could attach the wall to the chain link fence, I had to dig some dirt out from certain places, I had to remove some excess concrete from around one post, and then I had to use rocks and debris to shim the wall into place, making sure that it was level. To secure the wall, while I went around back to screw it in place, I tied it onto each post with a rope.
Okay, I am inside the cage. It is a little bit hard to film in here, but I think you can get the idea. So I am using these, what are they called? They're called tube straps. And you can see that I've put some here. It's been a little bit tricky to get the right angle. What I have found has worked is that I'm using like a 1 5/8 screw, so the right length for the 2x4s, and then I sometimes need a longer screw to sort of grab the wood, and then once it's grabbed the wood, this does bend. So that's how I've been able to get these 3 in, and then I also have some that I'm putting in along the top, but it's not pretty, but I do think it's sturdy. So I have one more post to go.
I could have stopped here, but I had visions of this being a living wall. I wanted plants to be all over it, and so I wanted to add some planters somehow. With 1x6 common pine and pocket holes, I built 6 really basic planters, and I left the back side open, figuring it was going to sit against the planter wall. I used small L brackets to attach them to the wall. I screwed 2 L brackets in place on the planter wall to support the planters, and then I screwed 2 more L brackets into either side of the planters along the top edge. I don't show it on camera, but I also reinforced the boards that were holding the planters with screws into the 2x4, just in case the wood glue and the small brad nails I'd used weren't secure enough. I decided to keep the plants right in their grow pots, so it's really easy to swap out for each season. But if you want to plant directly into your planter, I suggest stapling some plastic, not only to contain the dirt, but also to protect your wood a little bit.
One thing I really wanted was to have this be sort of a focal point. So I wanted it to be more than just wood. So I added these horizontal planters. They were really easy. They make such a difference, especially when they have lush plants in them. The deer have gotten to a little bit of these, but I can't wait to plant them with herbs and vegetables maybe next spring. We'll have to see. Even though I didn't use cedar, which would have been ideal for an outdoor location, I used common pine to save money, and then I sealed it with a waterproof stain and sealer in one. So not only does it make it look nice, it warms up this space a lot, but I also think that it will protect that pine, and I have no worries that this is going to hold up to the elements. Thanks again to the Home Depot for working with me on this project. It is such an improvement to these scary, scary cages. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and have a great day, everyone.